Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool. And more trash. Okay.
Listen to the rap music.
That's what it sounds like when a fish is biting on your hook, because we're talking about fishing games today. The last time it was typing, this time it's fishing. It might seem like I'm trying to bore you guys to death, but that's really not my intention. There's a difference between fishing mini games and fishing simulators. Today we're going to be focusing mainly on fishing games. Fishing simulators are very boring and they don't interest me. By the way, guys, who buys the Cabela's Big Game Hunter, Big Game Fisher games?
I'm on the trail, boy.
Because I don't buy them. I don't know anyone who does buy them, but they seem to want to shit them out every, like, 3 years or so. Who plays them? Who?
There's a buck just sitting there. Oh shit, he's getting up. I gotta get out the gun. Dad. What? What?
I want to collect all of those people who play Cabela's Big Game Fisherman. I want to put them in a big multi-purpose room and just ask them some general knowledge questions, like, are you brain dead? For clarity of fishing minigames, I might lump them into two different categories. There's the lame-ass sort of like sit and wait fishing games where you just click on the bobber when it bobs up and down. Then there are the action-packed ones where the developer is looking for you to play a chess game with the fish. And it's like, really, neither one of them is quite accurate. You know, normal fishing isn't just, reel in when the bobber goes down. And it's also not lure to C4. Checkmate fish. I don't think every fish you hook should be a fight, because there are some fish out there that just suck. Whenever I've hooked a stingray, it really feels like I'm reeling in just a bag of trash. It's just like getting pulled along and it's like, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. There's really no fighting that it can do. On the other hand, if you fight something like a tuna, you're going to be fighting that thing for 5 minutes. So to be clear, if I reel in any of the following, they should all feel relatively similar. Jellyfish, stingray, bag of too many shoes. If you want there to be a struggle between the fish and the fisherman, I think the most important word that you can use is finesse. I think the two games that have finesse down to a science is Stardew Valley and Breath of Fire 3. I've become obsessed with the bar, because this is how they both implement the finesse factor. You have this bar that you basically have to jerk back and forth to keep on the fish. It's not terribly difficult to do, but if you're not paying attention, you might fuck it up. And it's something that you can get better at with time. I think that's a key component that separates it from something like a QuickTime event. In a QuickTime event, you're getting random numbers every time. You're not going to master that. So I think the reason that I like these bars that you have to move in tandem with the fish is because they're a visual representation of tension. It's a similar thing in Far Cry 5. The line turns from green to red. It's sort of a gradient. Far Cry 5 was very good for nailing the realism. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking fishing! They checked a lot of boxes as far as innovation goes. Oh, what the fuck? I can't deal with it! Oh. Fuck. But the one thing they sort of got under my skin about was this woman who's requiring you to catch a big kahuna. She's yapping at you on the radio the whole time, sort of implying that the fish is getting tired, but that's not a thing in the game. The fish doesn't get tired. Oh, you fucking...
You're wearing him out. Keep trying.
Wearing him out? I just keep doing it? What are you talking about?
He's getting tired. Oh my god, he's right there. You got him.
Yes! Oh my gosh. While playing these games, I realized one of the most important components to me was actually the presentation of the fish. It's a very visual sport, right? You're catching these beautiful creatures, and a lot of the time, the initial instinct is like, I want to take a fucking picture with this thing. Like, this thing is epic, this is huge, and I pulled this bitch in. I love that. It's one of the more exciting reasons to do it. It's like you pull the celebrity out of the ocean and you want to take a picture with it. So I got really excited when some of these games really put the fish in your face when you caught it. And I think none of them did it better than Yakuza. Oh! What the fuck is... Holy shit! Every fish that fucking came out of the water in Yakuza looked fucking awesome. Even when they weren't fish, it was like, wow, like, I got a handbag, I got a little coin purse, like, this is sick. You can pull anything out of the water, and it's gonna look awesome. The games that don't give you this visual presentation of the fish tend to be games where they don't value fish in the same way. It's like, it's a resource, you're gonna sell it for money, you need it to make a potion for a raid or something like that. Yeah, it's a fish, it's not gonna give you a big notification, rare find! And that's not inherently a bad thing. That's the sort of shit where it's like, yeah, are you looking to farm? Are you looking to make money? Yeah, then don't show me a big cinematic every time I catch a fish. But yeah, I think to some extent, games could treat it like a Pokedex. When you first see a fish, it makes a big deal of it, but any reoccurring catches of that fish, it's less important. The RNG component to fishing is, I think, really important. You're sticking a line into a big empty vat of stuff. Like, you could pull anything out of it. But what a lot of these fishing games choose to have you pull out, trash. In addition to trash, how about some seaweed? Let's be real here. You could probably attract a whole new demographic of users if you just let them know that it's a possibility that they reel in, you know, some of their favorite items, whether it be a handbag or a Jimmy John's Subway sandwich or like a, you know, you name it. Fix the RNG so it's more tantamount to opening up a pack of Pokemon cards. Like, sure, I'm gonna be a bit disappointed if I get a C-Dot followed by a C-Dot.
C-Dot, the second C-Dot, gulping these nuts.
Like, yeah, it sucks, but eventually I'm gonna get a reverse Registeel.
Registeel with the steel fucking reverse!
And that concludes this episode of Gaming with Ethan. This episode was fishing, last time was typing, next time it might be reading in the library in games. One thing before I go, it's really important that we keep this community tight, like a real tight community. Don't send this video to people outside of our community, aka normies. Don't like those people. You know, don't like them. Only send it to your friends who are tight. That's how your friends will know that they're tight, is if you send this video to them. Oh, look at that. I forgot I left a dried worm on my hook. That preserved quite nicely. I might put that in my specimen collection.
It's important not to lose sight of what is and isn't worth fighting for. The way I see it, the biggest problem these days all stem from the fact that most people don't stop and think before they act.
I love fishing. I like to fish a lot. I cast my line into the ocean to see what I have got. I like to fish. I like to get fish. I like to be fished.